Yo, what's good with y'all? In today's video, I'm about to show you guys how to make another basic skill. This time, you can say this is kind of the second part to the series. This time I'm gonna show you guys how to make Gojo's domain expansion. Right now, the reason I haven't uploaded in 2 days was honestly because I was working on this. I was planning to release this on Thursday, but people wasn't really liking it because I didn't have a transition, so I was working on that. Then I was a little busy with school and stuff. So that's why it's now coming out on Friday. Stuff. So yeah. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so first things first, right? I just want to go ahead and put this out there. First, these animations I believe are for R6. Okay, so the animations I used with the script, this animation, well, there's only one animation, but the animation I used, it is an R6 animation, which means if you want to use this script, but you have R15, you would want to find yourself an R15 animation. But even then, you don't have to have an animation, but that's up to you. But anyway, getting into the setup process. Okay, so first things first, right? Actually, before I even get to the video, I just want to say shout out to all the people who have become channel members and Discord premium members. I appreciate every single one of you, and I as well appreciate all of my subscribers, regardless of if you're a channel member. I appreciate all y'all for watching my videos and stuff. And yeah, let's get straight into it. Okay, so first things first, we've got the sound service, right? So pretty much I got 3 sounds from the toolbox, right? I just want to go ahead and put this out there because people keep asking me, even though I keep telling y'all. I get all of my animations and all of my sounds and effects as well, usually from the toolbox. Literally go to the toolbox and just type in whatever it is you're looking for, and I guarantee you'll find it. That's where I get all this stuff from, right? So pretty much I got Gojo's domain expansion. It's just like a sound, what is it? Yeah, him, yeah, I think, so pretty much I think when it translates, that's Japanese, it's pretty much in Japanese, they're just saying domain expansion, right? And then this, right? So this is Sukuna, I think I say his name, but yeah. So this is Sukuna, his domain expansion, like him saying it, right? Now, I just want to let y'all know, it's not exactly accurate, like, to the anime and stuff, because someone commented when I was, like, testing and stuff, it's not going to be exactly the same. It's very similar, and it does look cool, but it's not going to be every detail down to the, because I didn't obviously have someone make all the effects. I just got whatever I could and stuff. So you guys can use whatever sound effects you want. And this is just this is like a sound, like a song, I guess you could say. Like, like, this is the sound that's going to play, like, when, like the domain kind of speeding ahead, but you guys will see what I'm talking about and stuff. Pretty much I just got 3 sounds from the toolbox, so just go to the toolbox, go to audio, and get you some sounds and put them in sound service, right? Then in server storage, here is the domain expansion model, right? There we go. This isn't actually what it looks like. Those are just the effects, like the particles. What it actually looks like is pretty much well, I can show you guys, but then I'm trying to remember which one. I don't remember which things. Oh, these two. So here's what it looks like, right? And then if I go on the inside, here's what it looks like from the inside. I know that looks really cool and stuff. Because no, definitely props to whoever made this. Because I just got it from the toolbox and stuff. But it looks really cool to me and stuff. Especially the spear in the middle and stuff. So yeah, this is what it looks like from the inside. So what I'm going to start doing for videos and what I'm doing for this video, I'm going to have this model, this exact thing, in the description, because the original model I changed a lot. I took a lot of parts out of it. I changed the transparency of these 2 things. I added a part, renamed it, so I'm not even going to go through the explanation process of, yeah, I'm just going to leave this model, not the scripts, but I'm going to leave this exact model just like how it is right now in the description. So all you got to do is just download it, and then just move it over and put it in server storage, right? So whether or not you're using the model I'm using, or if you're using a different model, put it in server storage, right? And then now we can get into the actual scripting. So first things first, let's head on over to starter player and let's insert a local script into starter player scripts. We can go ahead and name this script domain expansion script, and in parentheses we're going to put local. And then let's go ahead and create our remote event, because we know we're already going to need one. So let's insert a remote event to replicated storage, and we can go ahead and name this domain event. I was going to name it Gojo's domain event, but that's like, let's just be general. First things first, I'm going to make, say, about 5 variables. First thing, of course, I'm going to get the remote event. So I'm going to say local domain event is equal to game.replicated storage, wait for child, domain event. Then I'm going to get two services, the user input service and the tween service. So I'm going to do local UIS is equal to game get service, user input service, and then local PS is equal to game get service, tween service. Now I'm going to be tweening from all, like, for future reference for all of my videos, I'm going to be now twinning on the client side rather than the server side, because someone actually pointed out to me, and then I actually read something about it on the dev forum, that tweening on the server side can actually cause a lot of lag and stuff in the game. So I'm going to be focused on tweening on the client side now, so it'll look a little differently than how I've done it in the past. Then I'm going to make a cooldown variable. Local cooldown is of course by default set to false, because a lot of people on my really anything, the skill set selector, the basic skill, the combat system, they always ask about cooldowns. So I'm just going to start including cooldowns in the video so that you guys can see how to make cooldowns yourself. And I'm also going to have a video coming out on how to make cooldowns. But yeah, so cooldown. Then lastly, we're going to get the local player. So local player is equal to game.players.localPlayer. And now we have all of our variables. We're going to make two functions. So first things first, I'm going to set up the input function. So I'm going to say UIS dot input began connect function. In parentheses, I'm going to put input comma processed, because we need to make sure that the player is typing. The player is pressing the key and not typing, like they're not typing in chat, they're just pressing the key. So I'm going to use an if statement, use about 3 different ands. So I'm going to say if input.user input type is equal to enum.user input type keyboard, and input.keycode is equal to enum.keycode. For me, you guys already know the keybind, I always go with E, but you guys can go with whatever keybind you want. It's equal to E, and processed is equal to false, which means the player is not typing in chat. And lastly, cooldown is set to false, because we don't want the player, using the attack if they're supposed to be on cooldown. Then enter. Then simply we're going to set the cooldown variable equal to true. I'm going to fire the remote event. We don't need to send anything. We just gotta say domain event fire server, right? Then I'm gonna have a wait 3 seconds, then cooldown set to false. This is the cooldown duration. This is what this is right here, right? So if you want the player to be able to use this attack every 10 seconds, change this 3 to 10, right? Like, you guys understand what I'm saying. If you don't want to cool down, then you can delete this and delete this. But yeah, so you would just change it. So you would just change this value right here. This is what determines the duration of the cooldown. And we're done with that function. On to the next function. I'm going to set up a variable, the table for it, right? Like I said, if you're using the model I gave you, this would be very simple. You're just doing what I'm doing. If you're using a different model, maybe a little difficult to understand. But pretty much to explain this. So to give it a kind of transition effect, instead of having it appear out of nowhere, I'm going to be setting these two parts visible, right? So I'm going to set up a table with the actually no, I don't even really need a table, to be honest. I could just use an if statement. So yeah, actually never mind, forget the table, we're just gonna use a function. So I'm gonna say domain event dot on client event, because we're gonna fire it from the server. So pretty much we're gonna fire the client to the server, then the server back to the client to handle the tweening. So I'm gonna say connect function. In parentheses, I'm going to put event type comma, then I'm going to put domain expansion clone. This will make much more sense when we get to the server side of things, right? Then I press enter, and then I'm going to say if event type is equal to in, which pretty much that means like the transition, like its transparency is like going away, like it's fading in. Yeah, that's the word. It's fading in, like so a player can see it, right? I'm going to use a for I v in pairs loop, so I'm going to say for I comma v in pairs domain expansion, and I spelled it wrong. Domain expansion. I'm going to say domain expansion clone. Then I'm going to say get children, close parentheses, enter. Then I'm going to say if v dot name is equal to one either force field or v dot name is equal to force field 2. There we go. Then enter. Pretty much, if you're using a different model, like different effects, all I'm saying is like this, right? whatever you want in the model to appear, like to be set for transparency to be set to 0, that's what you would put for these names, right? That's what you would put. You would add on more names if you had more names, take away one if you only had one, and stuff. So yeah, like I said, if you're doing it the way I did it, you don't have to worry about it. Just do what I'm doing and stuff. But this is only for people who are, what I'm saying only applies to people who are using a different model. But yeah, so after that, we're going to set up the tween. I'm going to say local tween is equal to ts create, put v for the instance, then tween info dot new. As for the duration, you guys can play around with the time to see whatever you like. I'm going to go with 3.2 seconds. As for my easing style, I want to try something new, so I'm going with exponential, but you guys could go linear, whatever you want. But of course, for the easing direction, I of course went with out, right? Then put a comma on the outside, and then we're going to set the property table. So I'm changing the transparency of the force fields to 0 so that they're visible. So transparency equal to 0. I had to make sure I spelled that right. Then enter, and of course play the tween, right? And we've set up one of the events is one where to go, and then we're done on the client side. So I'm gonna press enter, then go right here and say else if event type is equal to quotation marks out. This means that the parts are going to fade out now because they're about to disappear pretty much. So press enter, and then great news, guys. As always, we can copy and paste this. And so Control C, then Control V. Then all you're doing is just changing this to 1, right? And yeah, saves a whole bunch of time. Like I said before, oh well, that, and I guess you could also change it to in because it's like, kind of fading in. But it's up to you guys though. But anyway, yeah, like I said, you guys can mess around with you guys can change the easing style, easing direction, the duration, but just keep in mind, if you're changing the tweening time, you have to also change the wait times on the server side. Pretty much, if you don't really know what you're doing with scripting, just leave things as is, because if you change something here in terms of wait time, you're gonna, except for this of course, but if you change any of these, either of these two values, you're going to have to change it on the server side as well. But we are done on the client side, so we can now move on to the server side. Let's insert a server script into server script service, and of course name it the vice versa. We're going to call it domain script parentheses put server. Then I'm going to delete print hello world, and of course I'm going to set up some variables. First things first, just like on the client side script, I'm going to set up the domain from an event. So local domain event is equal to game.replicated storage, wait for child, domain event. Then I'm going to set up a variable for the domain expansion model in server storage. So local domain expansion is equal to game.replicated storage. I mean, sorry, not replicated storage. Dot server storage wait for child and then wait for child domain expansion. Then I'm going to set up the domain expansion animation after I get the sound service. I'm going to say local ss is equal to game get service sound service. Then I'm going to skip a line, and then I'm going to set up the animation now. I'm going to say local domain expansion animation. The animation honestly isn't really that needed. It's not all that great. It's just a basic little hand sign animation where the player just puts his hands together and stuff. I couldn't find a specific domain expansion animation and stuff, but if you can find one or make one, then feel free to use that. Is equal to instance.new animation, of course. Then I'm going to say domain expansion animation.animation ID is equal to quotation marks rbx asset ID colon 2 forward slashes then ID. So 1 4 5 4 6 1 2 4 4 8 3, or I think that's 8, or maybe 0. I honestly don't know. Test my luck and go with 0. But anyway, now we get into the function. So I'm gonna say domain event dot on server event connect function in parentheses, just put PLR to short for the player, then enter. Now comes time for a lot of scripting. First things first, we're gonna set up a variable for the character. So local character is of course equal to player.character, right? Then I'm going to set up the animation track. Pretty much I'm setting up a lot of things so that I can call on all of them later on in the script. So I'm going to say local animation track is equal to character dot, this will not autofill by the way, so make sure you're typing it correctly, colon load animation. Then of course you would put the animation So animation, then I'm going to play the animation track. So animation track, play, right? Then I'm also going to play the sounds. I'm going to say ss.gojo domain expansion play. Then I'm going to use a function. So pretty much when the sound stops, the script will continue further. So it's going to wait till the sound finishes. So I'm going to say ss.gojo domain expansion, and I believe it's dot ended. Connect function, close parentheses, enter. You don't have to put anything inside the lines. You can just go on the outside and then proceed to the next line. Stuff. Pretty much the rest of the script will halt until this is done. Then moving on, I'm going to have a wait 1.3 seconds. Have a wait 1.3 second. Then I'm going to clone over the domain. So I'm going to say local domain expansion clone is equal to domain expansion clone. First things first, I'm going to set its parent to the workspace because sadly you cannot pivot its C frame until it is a child of the workspace. So I'm going to say domain expansion clone dot parent is equal to game dot workspace. Then I'm going to pivot it. So I'm going to say domain expansion clone. Make sure you're doing domain expansion clone and not domain expansion. So colon pivot to. Then as for here, I'm going to say character dot humanoid root part dot C frame times C frame dot new. And here you guys can mess around with the numbers and see whatever you like. But I went with 0, 2, and 5. The 2 is on the Y. This is the Y axis to make sure that it is above the ground, like it is above the ground, because Can Collide is turned on, so of course I wouldn't want it like to glitch, so I want it above the ground, and this is to make sure it's spawning in front of the player, right? So after we do that, then we're going to fire the remote event onto all clients so that we can begin the twinning process. Because remember, by default, the domain expansion model, or like the spawn shields are invisible at the moment. So I'm going to say domain expansion, or sorry, domain event, because I called it domain expansion event like when I first typed it up, so that's why I keep getting mixed up. But anyway, domain event, make sure you do fire all clients, not fire client, fire all clients. Then you're going to send over the event type, so in, remember, let's call back to the script we wrote already with the in and out. I'm setting that up now, so it should make more sense now. So I'm going to put in, then I'm going to send over the clone. Then I'm going to put a wait, just wait 0.2 seconds, just a little delay, right? I'm going to scroll down a little bit so I can have more room to type. And then I'm going to move the character. I'm going to say character, move to. Then I'm going to say domain expansion clone dot player spawn dot position. So pretty much I inserted a part into the model where I want the player to be standing. It's kind of far away from the like the spear in the middle and stuff. So it's so that the player is standing far back while the enemy players are standing close to the spear, if that makes sense. So pretty much if you're not using this model, just insert a part, name it player spawn, and then just put it somewhere inside the model, to wherever you want the player to be standing, whoever is initiating the attack. This is where they'll be standing. Then I'm going to use a for i being pairs loop to get all the players in the surrounding area. So I'm going to say, because I want it to be like an AoE attack, like it gathers all the players in the surrounding area. So I'm going to say for I comma v in pairs. I'm going to say game dot players get children, enter, and then I'm going to say local other character, because I need to differentiate between the character who's initiating the attack and the other characters, the enemy characters, you could say, is equal to v dot character, right? Then I'm going to use an if statement. It's a pretty long if statement, not gonna lie. So I'm going to say if other character, need to make sure that they have a character. So if other character, and in parentheses character dot humanoid root part dot position dot magnitude. Then we'll say minus other character dot humanoid root part dot position dot magnitude. Then on the outside the parentheses, I'm going to say less than equal to 50. So this value right here is very important. This is your attack. You could say your attack radius, attack range, or your radius, right? So pretty much this is in studs, right? So depending on how far away the player is will determine if they're like wrapped into the attack, right? So the higher this value, the wider the attack range is, right? If it's set to like 10, then players with like it'll be like a small area. But with 50, you're getting all the players in a very decently sized area. So pretty much if you want the attack radius to be lower or smaller, I guess you could say, you would lower the number. If you want it to be bigger, then you would increase the number. It's that simple. So less than equal to 50, and of course one last check, other character dot name is, you could say, you call this, well, this is, it stands for nil, but you could also call it like just squiggly line, whatever you guys want to call it. And character dot name, this pretty much makes sure that, like, of course I'm not getting my character, like the character that is attacking, that is initiating the attack, right? Then you can say enter. Then I'm going to generate a random number. So I'm going to say local number equals math.random in the range of 1 to 15, because I want to have the enemy characters stand inside. I want to move them to a certain position within the attack, but I want them to kind of be a little spread out, like not standing directly on top of each other. So I'm going to generate a random number between number 1 to 15. I'm going to say other character. This one not auto, by the way, so move 2. Then here I'm going to put the position. I'm going to say domain expansion clone dot, let me think. I forgot what it was called, not gonna lie. Oh yeah, dot floor dot position. Then I'm gonna say plus vector 3 dot new number 0, comma 0, right? So pretty much moving them along the x-axis. So pretty much it'll move them more to the left and stuff. So it'll randomize how much they'll be moved to the left and stuff. So yeah. Then I'm going to put a little delay, so wait 0.5 seconds. And then after that, I'm going to set their walk speed and jump power equal to 0. So other character dot humanoid dot walk speed is equal to 0. Other character dot humanoid dot jump power is equal to 0, because we don't want the enemy characters to be able to move during this attack. So I'm going to set that equal to 0 and stuff. And the thing is, the players are going to be killed from this attack. They're going to die. So with that being said, their walk speed and jump power would reset, and it would be back to whatever the default is for your game when they respawn. So you wouldn't have to worry about setting it back. So yeah. So once we're done there, we can then pretty much, let me see. Go on the outside this far. Being person, yeah. Just look right here. And then I'm going to say ss dot something outside underscore dot time position is equal to 30. So pretty much what this is, time position pretty much means for the specific sound. When the sound starts playing, it's going to start from the specific sound. From the specific time. If a song is 2 minutes long and you wanted to start playing at a specific point in the song, because you know how songs will build up, but then if you wanted to play instantly, like when the drums are loud and all that stuff, then you would set the time position. For this specific sound, I'm using the something's outside underscore. I set the time position by default equal to 30, but the thing is, when you play the sound and then you stop the sound, it'll reset back to 0, so I have to set it each time. So yeah, like I said, just type in the names of these sounds. I didn't change the name of the sound, so you should be able to find all of them, unless they somehow were taken down. But considering I just got them like 2 days ago, I couldn't really see how that would happen. But anyway, moving on. Then I'm going to play the sound once I know the time position is set correctly. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Then I'm going to put a wait. So I'm going to say wait about, say 8 seconds, right? This is the amount of time that the lines are going to be going straight ahead. It'll make sense when you guys see it, but it's just a little delay, right? This is how long the attack will play for before everything comes to kind of like a standstill. Then I'm going to use another for I purpose. We got about 3 more left, and then we're almost done, guys. So for I, comma v in pairs, domain expansion, clone. Then I'm going to say, let's go with regular brackets. Then in quotation marks, I'm going to say domain lines. These are the effects. I'm going to say domain lines. I'm going to say get children, enter. Then I'm going to say if v is a particle emitter, I'm pretty much getting all the particles. If v is a particle emitter, then for you guys can mess around with these numbers if you want. I went with just 5, 0, -1, pretty much just like 5 seconds. Well, not 5 seconds, because I don't even know what type of scale this is, honestly. So I said if v dot time scale is nil equal to 0, right? Then v dot time scale is equal to 1. This pretty much, it gives it the effect. It pretty much gives it the effect that what's it called? I believe this is setting it to what's it called? It's gonna make it kind of speed up in a sense, right? Like go really fast, I guess. Then I'm gonna put a weight for like 0.08. Like I said, just mess around with the numbers and then just see what you like pretty much. Then we go on the outside the for I loop and on to the next one. We finished with that one, and then now for kind of the opposite type of effect, I guess you guys could say. Or not even the opposite, just a little different. This is for the core. So I'm gonna say for I comma v in pairs. This time I'm gonna say don't the main expansion dot core get children enter, and then I'm gonna say if v find first child particle emitter, here's where you would put the name. The names are just the default names. So if v find first child particle emitter, then v find first child particle emitter. I'm going to edit the time scale just like I did before. So time scale is equal to 0. And then on the outside, I'm going to stop and then start a sound. So I'm going to say ss dot something outside the underscore stop. Then I'm going to play Sukuna's thing. So here's the main expansion play. Then I'm going to have another delay. Like I said, you guys can mess around with the delay times, but please, 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 if you're going to mess around with the delay times, know that you have to change other things. If you don't know how to change it, then don't change it, pretty much. So wait 3 seconds. Then, guys, this is it, the last for I v in pairs loop. This is what's going to handle the damage. So I'm going to say for I comma v in pairs. I'm going to say game dot players get children enter. It's very similar to what I did the first time. I'm going to say local other character is equal to v dot character, right? Then I'm going to literally run the same things. So great news is you guys can copy and paste this if statement. We do not have to retype this entire thing. So you can really just control C it. The control V right here. You're gonna need to add an end right here. So just backspace to, there we go. Then you're gonna put other character dot humanoid dot health. Set it to 0 if you want the player to instantly die. If you just wanted to deal some damage, then you could just say minus equal 10. But I just feel like the player should die. So then I'm gonna do 0, right? And then I'm going to say on the outside, this is the last part. I'm gonna say domain event, fire all clients. Then in parentheses, quotation marks, I'm gonna say out so it knows to pretty much like this is it. It's done. So domain expansion clone, have a low delay, wait 1.5 seconds. And then on the server side, I'm going to destroy it. So pretty much the tweening is only happening on the client side. So it's fading in and fading out only on the client side. The server side, nothing is happening. It's just brought over, then destroyed. So the server will destroy it for everybody after the effects are done. So now I can show you guys and stuff, right? Now just to let y'all know, you obviously won't see anything happen because there are no other players and stuff. I could test it, but yeah, like so if I press E, you guys hear the sounds, you guys see it's faded in all nicely. That's the spear I was talking about. You hear the sounds, you see the particles moving, and then it should, and as you guys see, it would kill the player. I think, let me make sure I actually did this right. Let me make sure I actually did this right. Because it should have stopped the particles. Let me see. 4I equals 5, 0, nil equals 0, and v dot time scale is equal to 1. Then dot time scale equals 0. Yeah, pretty sure that looks good. But yeah, that's pretty much how you do it. As always, if you guys want access to the scripts, or well, to both scripts, of course. If you want access to the scripts, or the model in general, then you can just set everything up and then boom, like it would literally take a minute, and then you would have exactly what I just made. What I'm probably going to have, I'm actually probably going to save the other file. Yeah, I'm gonna save what I already did before, and the reason for that is because honestly, it didn't do exactly as it was supposed to do. Look, besides the point. So yeah, if you guys want access to the scripter model, then you guys can become a channel member or a Discord premium member. You can ask about that in the comments if you're interested. Thank you to all my channel members and my Discord premium members. Thank you for watching the video. Next video I have, what am I doing next? Oh, next video will be how to make the strongest battlegrounds, the entire game as a whole, and stuff like that. I'm pretty much combining all my videos regarding the game into one. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys next video.